Hey guys, welcome back. Where have you been? It's been a while. Hopefully I remember how to do all this. We're in the book in Hal Leonard right now doing the fifth position. We looked at primarily for me that it could be a pentatonic scale in A minor or C major. And then the book filled in a whole bunch of chromatics. They gave us all the notes. We've got A to C in pentatonic, A, B, and C with Aeolian, A sharp, B, and C if we do some chromatics. And as we've looked at it, I've said we don't really need to memorize all those chromatic notes, but now we're going into a song that uses many more of them, and I want to talk about why each one is there. It's called Jazzin the Blues, and it's an A blues, so we're going to have A7s, D7s, and E7s, 1, 4, and 5 with dominant 7s on all of them. Most of the licks will look like they're pentatonic, but one of the things that can take us out of pentatonic every time is using a chord tone. That's one of the rules no matter what scale you're on. You can always play a chord tone. So an A7 chord has C sharp notes in it. A pentatonic minor has C naturals. So you can have C natural in the scale. And then the C sharp, the major 3 of the chord. The D7 would give you the same thing, where we would have D, E, and G in the scale. We can add the F sharp to cover the D chord. And we could actually use the F natural as a flat 3, which they do as a chromatic filling in from E to F sharp, the chord tone F sharp, over the flat 3, the bluesy note on the D chord. So that'll give us this 6 here, this chromatic note. On the E7, they're going to use a bunch of chord tones as well. We have the G sharp, which is not in the pentatonic major or minor, but it's in the E chord. So they hit that. The 4th fret is the B. It's the 5 of the E chord. We walk through a C sharp, which is not in our scale, but we've seen it in the A chord. It's also a major 6 on the E chord, which is a bluesy effect. Then we come down through the blue note. We hit the E chromatically on E flat down to the D. Then we start to wrap up with very straight pentatonic minor and a blue note again. So that blue note is the most normal chromatic note. It's the flat 5, and it's jammed in between 4s and 5s. Whether you're going up or down, it fills chromatically between them. And then we have a new thing called the Bebop Ending. So we have the A note, down to its 5, the E note, and then running back up a major scale. So we do the F sharp and the G sharp to end on the A. In the song they use a 5th fret A here to end. I've used the open. You can also actually hit an A7 chord. So let me play through this. In your book you'll see this 5th fret note, the A note, the root, played 8 times. Just to save some space, I only wrote it once on my picture and used the 8th notes underneath to indicate the rhythm. So this is swing, and we're on beat 4, 4 and 1. This is a little peek at pentatonic major, and this is one of the nice things about pentatonic. If you're in a major blues, you can mix major and minor, which gives you a jazzy sound, which is part of the theme of this, mixing majors and minors. So E to F sharp gives you a pentatonic major note up to the root. That C natural is the flat 3, a bluesy note on it from pentatonic minor. Same lick again. And then goes backward, the G to the E, that's a flat 7 to the 5 of the chord. So we've been on chord tones here. 5, the 6, the root. The flat 3 or sharp 9, same lick. The flat 7 to the 5. You could also do those 5s as double stops if you like. would be kind of fun as well. At the end of the line, I've got a quarter rest on beat 2, an eighth rest on beat 3, leaving the swing eighth note, the 7, that's the A note, the root, and then a chromatic note there. We're hitting the flat 3 again, the C sharp, that's the major 3 of the chord, so we're borrowing that from Major Pentatonic. Or we're just filling in a chromatic to get from the C up to the D note of the D chord. Chromatic on the D, E to F natural, the flat 3, to F sharp, the major 3. Here we've got pentatonic minor from the 5 to the 8 again, with either an Aeolian note, the 6 of the D chord, the B note, or they're borrowing major pentatonic with minor. You're getting that bleed over between the two. So this is beat 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and, tying it to beat 1, and coming down these 7 5s. And this is major pentatonic, minor pentatonic, major. So this is actually a major pentatonic lick with this flat 3, the 5 borrowed from the minor. This is on beat 2. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and. That's a C sharp and an E of that A chord that we're on. I'm going to back up and play from the end of the first line. The 7, 5, and 6, that's on the and of 3. And 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and. In your book, they put that 4th fret F sharp out here at the 9th of the 5th string. And they've got you spreading out. I've decided to put it on the 4th string. We're hitting the flat 7 of the chord, the dominant 7 chord, from the 13 or the 6. 1, 2, 3. I love this idea. This is a surround note. The 6th fret, again we've talked about the chord tone of this E chord. It's the G sharp, the major 3. That's the note we're aiming for on the E chord, and they surround it with a fret above, the 7, a fret below, the 5, and the 6. So it's a chromatic note, and it's surrounded on either side by its chromatics. Rest on beat 3, just that little 8th rest. So this is 1 and 2 and, rest, and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. Back to this 7-5, that's on beat 4. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. 7th on 2 different strings. Usually use a little finger roll. We'll have to see that in reverse as we get here. This is a rest on 1, we're coming down from the and 2 and 3 and 4 and. This is pentatonic, as I mentioned before, pentatonic minor with a blue note. And that 7 under it can be a different finger, or you can use a bar or a roll. And that's that classic bebop ending. We're hitting the root to the 5. Root 5, and then the 6, 7, and up to the root. We've talked about that even being melodic minor to get to that root to ending. Again, in the book, they use a 5th fret A there. But I'm using the open in case you want to hit a chord. So let's hear the whole thing relatively slow motion again. A 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and one more time through 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. That's it. Talk to you guys later. Bye.